Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today let's analyze John Milton's Paradise Lost, Book 8. Paradise Lost, Book 8, published in 1667. John Milton, 1608-1674. Book 8 serves as a transitional moment in Paradise Lost, moving from the cosmic narration of creation in Book 7 to the personal, emotional, and a relational story of Adam and Eve. After learning from Raphael how the world was made, Adam now asks deeper questions about the heavens and stars. Raphael gently warns against the overreaching curiosity and shifts the conversation to Adam's own creation, self-awareness, and his longing for companionship, which leads into the story of Eve's creation. This book explores the limits of human knowledge, the beauty of obedience, and the divinely ordered bond between man and woman. Book 8 serves as a philosophical and emotional preparation for the fall in Book 9. It deepens our understanding of Adam and Eve as complex, failing individuals. It highlights the tension between knowledge and obedience, reason and passion, and solitude and companionship. The gentle, fatherly tone of Raphael's warnings contrasts sharply with the later appearance of Satan, making this book a moral and emotional turning point in the epic. Adam's curiosity about the cosmos, lines 1 to 178. Adam expresses admiration for the celestial bodies and inquires about the motions, whether the sun revolves around the earth or vice versa. He is puzzled by the order and vastness of the heavens and wants to understand how the cosmos functions. He also wonders about the purpose of such a vast universe if humans are the only rational creatures occupying it. Raphael's caution against over-curiosity, lines 179-184. Raphael responds by warning Adam not to delve too deeply into matters that God has not revealed. He explains that it is better to be content with what one can observe and focus on, obedience, rather than speculative inquiry. Raphael uses reason to redirect Adam's wonder. The motion of these stars may not be fully understandable, but this should not hinder faith or obedience. Raphael encourages humility and action, line 285-357. Raphael advises Adam to turn his attention from celestial speculation to earthly virtue. He says that knowing how to live rightly is far more important than unraveling the mysteries of astronomy. Raphael reminds Adam that a true wisdom lies in obedience, humility, and active virtue. Adam narrates his own creation and awakening, lines 358-520. Adam begins his personal story. He recalls awakening into existence in the Garden of Eden. At first, he is overwhelmed by the beauty of the world and wonders who and what he is. He is guided by a voice, that is, the voice of God, who tells him he was made for joy, obedience, and dominion. Adam names the creatures of earth, noting their pairs and a mutual companionship. Adam asks for a companion, the creation of Eve, lines 521-602. Adam asks God for a companion, stating that even with the dominion and beauty all around him, he lacks someone to share his experience. God acknowledges this as good and puts Adam into a deep sleep from which Eve is created from his rib. When Adam awakens and sees Eve, He is awestruck by her beauty and made whole by her presence. Raphael's gentle warning about a passion and obedience, lines 603, 653. Adam describes his love and admiration for Eve, but also reveals how her beauty can distract him from reason. Raphael cautions Adam to moderate his passions and ensure that love does not cloud his judgment. Raphael gently reminds Adam of his duty and the importance of rational love grounded in obedience to God. Raphael departs, lines 653-54. As evening approaches, Raphael prepares to return to heaven. He advises Adam once more to obey God, avoid temptation, and remain vigilant. The bouquet ends on a note of hope and a warning, as Adam and Eve are left with a knowledge, freedom, and responsibility. Now let's analyze the key themes in Book 8. Limits of human knowledge. Milton suggests that while curiosity is natural, it should not lead to pride or distraction from moral responsibilities. Not all mysteries are meant to be solved by humanity. Some are reserved for divine understanding. Proper use of reason. Reason is a divine gift, but it must be used in accordance with the obedience and humility. Speculative knowledge that leads one away from God is portrayed as dangerous. Divine design of companionship. Adam's loneliness and the subsequent creation of Eve emphasize the centrality of relationship in God's design. Human beings are made for companionship, not isolation, and a love must be reciprocal and responsible. Foreshadowing the fall. Adam's intense admiration of Eve subtly hints at an emotional dependence that could lead to poor choices. This builds tension toward the coming fall in Book 9, where love and reason come into conflict. Free will and responsibility. Although Adam is given knowledge and love, he is also reminded that he is free and that freedom must be guarded through obedience. This prepares readers for the moral weight of the choices ahead. Now let's analyze the main course from Book 8. Solicit not thy thoughts with matters hid, leave them to God above. Line 167-68. Raphael wants Adam not to pry into divine mysteries that are beyond human comprehension. This reflects Milton's central theme of the limits of human knowledge, emphasizing humility and obedience over intellectual pride. The line critiques the dangerous pursuit of forbidden knowledge, which ultimately led to Satan's fall and will soon cause Adam's fall. Now the next quote. Heaven is for thee too high to know what passes the lowly wise. Line 172-73. Raphael advises Adam to be lowly wise, meaning content with what is necessary and accessible to human understanding. Milton contrasts arrogant speculation with a virtuous humility, urging that spiritual obedience is better than scientific inquiry when the latter leads to pride. This idea sets the stage for the fall in Book 9, where Adam and Eve's desire for forbidden knowledge causes the ruin. Now the next quote. To know that which before us lies in daily life is the prime wisdom. Line 192-94. Raphael redefines wisdom not as cosmic speculation, but as understanding and living rightly in the everyday matters. Milton suggests that practical morality is of greater value than abstract theorizing. This line elevates daily virtue over metaphysical knowledge, aligning with his Christian humanist values. Now the next quote. Let Adam first be tried in his obedience. Implied theme reflected in Raphael's tone. Though not a direct quote, the underlying message in Raphael's guidance is that obedience precedes deeper knowledge or glory. Adam's trial is not intellectual but moral, whether he will obey God's single command. This foreshadows the fall as a failure not of ignorance but of will. Now the next quote. Thou hast attained the sum of wisdom, hope no higher. Line 178. Raphael tells Adam he has already been granted the wisdom he needs. No more should be sought. This quote echoes the idea that overreaching ambition leads to downfall, as seen in Satan's rebellion. It underlines Milton's vision of a divinely set boundary for human knowledge and a contentment. The next quote. When I awoke and I found myself reposed under a shade of flowers. Line 253-54. Adam begins his recollection of his own creation, awakening in the Garden of Eden. This is one of the most beautiful moments in innocent self-awareness, as Adam recognizes the perfection around him and wonders at his origin. Milton infuses the scene with a awe and a sense of God's benevolent power. Now the next quote. Who brought me hither will bring me hence, no other guide I seek. Line 275-76. Adam expresses trust in his Creator, believing that the one who brought him into being will guide him forward. This line shows Adam's initial innocence, humility, and faith. Ironically, this trust will later waver when Eve eats the fruit, demonstrating the fragility of such faith. The next quote. Among unequals, what society can sort, what harmony or true delight. Line 383-84. Adam observes that animals have companions suited to them, but he has none equal to himself. This reflects the idea that true companionship requires equality, preparing the reader for the divine creation of Eve. Milton uses this argument to support the theological justification for Eve's creation from Adam's side. The next quote. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. Implied phrase from Genesis echoed by Adam. Adam's recognition of Eve as part of himself emphasizes the unity and intimacy of their bond. By using language that echoes Genesis, Milton reinforces the divine ordination of marriage. This bond is idealized in Eden, though it will be tested and strained after the fall. The next quote. Her I approach not. Line 529. Adam explains how Eve's beauty and presence stir powerful emotions in him. This is both a celebration of love and a warning about the potential danger of overwhelming passion. Milton implies that reason should guide a love, or else it can become a weakness. The next quote. For contemplation he and a valor formed, for softness she and a sweet attractive grace. Line 541-42. Adam reflects on the divine design of gender roles, with a man made for strength and thought, and a woman for beauty and companionship. This quote reveals Milton's hierarchical view of gender, which has been both influential and controversial. It reframes Eve's role as complementary but secondary. This becomes central to later interpretations of blame and responsibility in the fall. The next quote. Accuse not nature, she hath done her part, do thou but thine. Line 561-62. Raphael cautions Adam not to blame nature or Eve for his choices. This foreshadows Adam's later temptation to deflect blame after the fall. Milton emphasizes personal responsibility and the idea that free will cannot be excused by affection or circumstance. The next quote. Love refines the thoughts and heart enlarges. Line 588-89. Raphael describes love in its ideal form as elevating and ennobling when rightly ordered. This supports Milton's belief that spiritual love transcends mere physical attraction. It offers a standard of pure rational love against which Adam's infatuation is subtly measured. Now the next quote. Take heed lest passion sway thy judgment to do odd which else free will would not admit. Line 567-69. Raphael explicitly warns Adam not to let passion overrule reason. This is a direct foreshadowing of Adam's decision to eat the fruit out of love for Eve. Milton's central argument here is that free will is preserved only when governed by reason and moral clarity. The next quote. Be strong, live happy, and love, but first of all, him whom to love is to obey and keep his great command. Line 633-35. As Raphael departs, he offers his final words of wisdom. Love, strength, and joy are all rooted in obedience to God. This moral summation encapsulates the ethos of paradise. That happiness is grounded in submission to divine will. It is a profound warning and a blessing poised just before the tragedy of Book 9.